Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hello to the two people who aren't watching the Rams 49ers right now, besides the two of us.
I'm sure you just have it over your
I
camera.
do not. Even though I live in LA, I'm not a Rams fan because the mother effers left, and when they left, I found a new team, and I've been with the new team ever since, which are the Carolina Panthers. It started right at the same time, and I'm a ride or die with the Panthers now. So to hell with the Rams. If they get beat by the 49ers, great. If they win, great. It doesn't matter. I love the fact the Bengals won against the Chiefs. That was shocking. And I'm kind of at a point where I'd like Matthew Stafford to get a Super Bowl ring. I'd love for the Bengals to win because do you know that they haven't been to a Super Bowl since 1988. That means a text message that never happened before. Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. Never happened until today.
So this is the game with the big forks at the end of each. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Good evening, Cody. Good to see you.
Gives you an idea, by the way, how insanely intense I feel about the ball of feet.
Yes. Yeah, but if Captain America was playing it, he'd be watching it like crazy.
Maybe. That may be the deal breaker for my fandom.
Yep. All right. We've got a little something special going on here. I've had a very just crazy weekend. I am just I've got about half my dinner finished. So Paul has had a chance to watch the first few episodes, I assume.
Yeah. Yep. The first three. Half of the season they put up.
Yeah. So. I'm one of the backers, so I'm going to watch them. I could have seen them early. I didn't get a chance. It's been crazy with pushing the graphic novel. We're coming close to the end on that, but that's been all my attention for the last couple weeks. So Paul is going to talk about Legend of Machina while I step off the screen long enough to finish my dinner real quick, and then I will come back and join you guys. So let's give it to Paul.
See you in a bit. All right. So being up front here, I'm aware of Critical Role. I'm fans of many of the voice actors in them. I have not watched the Critical Role Vox Machina episodes of the web series that gained them their started their big following. I have watched the first 3 episodes that they released on Amazon Prime. It's interesting to me. It's they certainly started off with a really cool. They start off with a really kind of odd and unusual thing, which was they showed this band of adventurers going up against some odd terror that's been devastating the countryside. It's not Vox Machina, and in fact, the other band of like heroes gets their asses handed to them right after those asses get cut off. Basically, they just get wiped out with no. They think, aha, we will stand against you. And it's like, nope, not at all. So it was interesting getting introduced to the various characters. I'm curious as to how much the characterization is similar to or hews exactly to the characterization in the game itself. The web show. I'm getting this is something that we're seeing a lot of these days, and I'm getting a bit tired of, which is the splatter punk kind of animation, the shows where it's just blood is gushing all over the place and it's played as much for humor as it is for shock. which yeah, it just seemed like it seemed a bit much to me. I am a longtime gamer. I haven't been playing a lot of D&D lately. Certainly the characters hew close to the tropes, except maybe for the Bard Scanlan, who's a gnome bard who is just horny as hell. So it's weird not having Dan to jump to get his opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. I think they did a nice, the animation is nice. The action is very well choreographed. The characters are interesting. It's just a little over the top for me in terms of the gore and also the humor. Although saying that, that may not be a good criticism because, as those of you who are gamers know, when you get into a fantasy RPG session, there's a lot of weird, inappropriate humor, cussing. Depending on the group you're with, maybe some raunchy stuff as well. So in that respect, I feel like it's a pretty good reflection, I guess, of many gaming groups. Even though we're not, seeing the, it's purely done as a uh, narrative rather than, like with the uh, show, you see the players and their interpretation of the characters, whereas this we're just getting the actual play kind of thing. Well, or vice versa. So yeah, I don't know that I would like wholeheartedly recommend it. If you're a gamer, you may find it interesting and amusing. I would assume if you're a Critical Role actual play fan, then you are going to get a real big kick out of it. Seeing the characters that you like come to life. I get a kick out of hearing all the different voice actors that I know from other roles doing these. And Yeah, so um, I'm like, I'm interested to see where the last 3 episodes go. They released the first three. I understand it's supposed to be a 6 episode season. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm kind of it. I'm wondering if the back three are going to bring it into something that I really love, or if I'm going to go like, well, that's okay. And for the people who love it, I'm always happy for people who love stuff um, to find something that they really enjoy. I don't go like, I hate something, so you better. Um, oh, it's I can't put your question up on the screen like Dan can, Cody, one of our commenters. It's called The Legend of Vox Machina. It is based on the Critical Role actual play YouTube channel. And it's a bunch of voice actors who are playing D&D together and filming it. And, so you get interesting stuff with people doing all interesting voices and whatnot. And that's, but basically this is a cartoon that produces is reconstructs the narrative or of the web show, um, except without the actual play aspect. So you're just seeing the characters and everything boil down to a straightforward narrative interpretation. So
yeah, this was a Kickstarter campaign that
Right.
they did to fund this, even though it's showing on Amazon.
Yeah.
Or Amazon
Welcome back,
Prime.
Dan.
Wow, thank you. The interesting thing is that this is the largest Kickstarter ever. They made a fortune. It broke $1 million and kept going. I think, and it passed at the reboot of MST 3000 with Felicia Day and Patton Oswalt. This passed that.
MST3K. All us Misties just call it MST3K.
I call it MST 3000. So up here on the West Coast, we call it properly. But it's so it was a very popular game. It built into a set. They're actually now on their third campaign.
Right.
This is their first campaign. So they're taking the characters and stuff from the first campaign and bringing them into telling the animated tales. And it kind of grew. It was originally just going to be a one shot, and then they made so much money that it grew into a 6-episode series. So they dropped the first 3. We got another 3 coming. I will probably watch them tomorrow, and start watching them. I haven't had a chance, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them. I do watch the show. I didn't get into it in the first season, so I know the characters, and I've seen some of it. I got into the second season, watched a lot of it. And then the third, if you want to watch the actual play, there's a couple one-shots they've done, which are good entry points. They also do some live shows, and live shows are really cool because they're playing in front of huge convention center audiences, and some of them are even in theaters. And the audience and the fans get so excited that you get pulled in. And even though you don't know exactly what's going on, you catch up pretty quick. So I think it's an experience worth having to at least watch one of them. But I would start with a live show.
Yeah. Do you know, by the way, I understands there was the Vox Machina RPG, and then or group, and then there's another one called the Mighty Nine that they did.
Yeah, that's campaign 2. Campaign 1 is Vox Machina. That's the name of the team.
Okay.
They always find their own name. I don't think they have a name yet for the third campaign yet.
Mm-hmm.
If it is, I haven't heard it yet. But then I watched the first 2 of the new campaign and haven't had a chance to get back. They're probably 6 or 7 episodes in now, maybe a little more. But yeah, they kind of find their name as they go along.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mighty Nine is the second group, and that's the one I'm more familiar with and I've watched more of. But yeah, the Vox Machina was the first one. There's comic books out there from Dark Horse that tie into this, and Matt Mercer is the DM, and he is the one creating a lot of this stuff.
Right,
and he's now teaming with Wizards of the Coast /D&D, and is bringing out books and stuff that introduce his world of Alexandria into the universe.
Oh, it's called Alexandria?
I believe so, yeah.
I've only heard it called Tal'Darai, but is that just the city?
Yeah, I think maybe Alexandria is the city and Tal'Darai is. I'm not that great of a critter. Right. I'm a fan of it, and I've watched it, but I'm not the best critter to have on here to describe this stuff. But yeah, he's gotten, it's like 2 or 3 books now.
Yeah.
Into the source books and stuff for it.
Yeah, I thought about picking up the campaign setting, but I'm not spending a ton on gaming books right now.
The fascinating thing with it is, if you're a gamer, is that they actually started originally playing Pathfinder and then switched into D&D, which became interesting because Taliesin Jaffe, who is one of the voice actors who's part of this group,
right?
He was playing a character named Percy, who is, you can be a gunslinger in the Pathfinder universe.
Right.
And the Pathfinder universe is basically played on top of the D&D universe.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah. So when they switched over, Matt had to do a lot of interesting stuff to allow him to keep his guns.
Right.
And keep
it's they switched when the 5e came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've been playing for a long time. They were actually playing this game in their home, and then it kind of grew and grew and grew, and now they've got an incredible fan base and following. And like I said, I jumped in when I first started playing D&D a couple years back. Lisa's daughter, Scotland, asked me to teach her how to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I'd only been playing for about 2 years myself. I'd never DM'd before. So I went out and started watching games to try to figure out what I needed to do as a DM. And watching Matt Mercer as a DM is the worst thing you could possibly do because the guy is fantastic.
Well, when you're a professional voice actor,
Yeah.
I mean, we all, when we're DMing, are like, oh, that's just the ancient wizard, or
Yeah.
I'm the gruff dwarf. But when you're actually an accomplished voice actor, let's
Uh-huh.
believe that we're going to definitely be seeing uh,
Yeah.
a higher caliber of that aspect of DMing.
Yes. Yes. And watching him did influence me quite a bit, but also there was another group that I was watching. I won't say who the DM is because um, some things came out, some less than stellar things came out, and he's been kind of pushed out of the industry now. But I
Oh,
watched.
another voice actor by any chance?
No. This guy was
Oh,
specifically a DM, but
oh, okay. Yep.
he was working for D&D and doing um, Tomb of Annihilation, which was the game I was going to run
Yeah.
for. When Scotland said she wanted to, of course, her brother then suddenly wanted to play, and Lisa wanted to play. So I started running a game with that family.
Yeah.
And we were going to do Tomb of Annihilation because Braden loves dinosaurs and Scotland loves zombies. And that's pretty much Tomb of Annihilation.
Ah, well, there you go.
Yeah. So I watched this group playing and then followed them into other campaigns they did. And some great players. And the DM was very talented. And I learned a lot watching him. Just
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I was gonna say it's just another one of those lessons we all learn and relearn, that
Yeah.
just because somebody's talented doesn't mean they're not a dick.
Yeah. Interesting though, is I did create a character for one of my other groups. I needed a fill-in paladin in case there was a healer. The healer didn't show up or the tank didn't show up. So I created this paladin, and I this character was a very unique. It was a Triton. This Triton character, but there was a Triton in one of these groups played by this girl who goes by the name of Blue Jay, who's online, and I follow her and stuff like that. But her character was a priest of Astitia, which is this little known character. So I jokingly said, I'm going to make a Triton, and he's a paladin, so he's going to be to Astitia. I think she was a cleric of Astitia. I don't remember which it was, but so I tweeted her out. I said, yeah, hey, I created this character, blah, blah, blah. And she wrote back, and she's like, you should make him this guy's brother. Like, okay.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I technically have the brother of one of the characters that used to be on the regular on the D&D circuit.
Very nice.
So every time he levels, I text her, and she's like, yay, he's still going. But yeah, so I'm a fan of Vox. Like I said, I don't know Vox Machina that well, but I backed the Kickstarter as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
Somewhere around here, I have the dice they sent. They sent out purple dice that were very cool, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the show. They're super talented people. Hey, Jen. And I'm looking forward to sitting down and watching the show this week. I might talk about it on the Dan Wickland show on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of, I do Peacemaker on Tuesday, something Wednesday, and then Book of Boba Fett on Thursday. So we'll have to see what's going to fill in the Wednesday slot. It's probably going to be Vox Machina. Mm-hmm. All right. Or Lisa keeps telling me I need to do a Valentine's Day episode where I talk about gifts for nerds.
Oh, you can get gifts for free online.
Yes. So.
But I believe they're pronounced Jiff.
Yes. Before we switch over to Book of Boba Fett, I do want to let me do this proper like or improper like, however you want to look at it. I do want to hype one more time my Kickstarter, which is still going on. We got just a couple days left, and they made a big announcement recently that if we get to 42,500, they will make all the trade paperbacks into hardcovers, which is a
Ooh.
pretty nice upgrade. And as you can see, we're pretty damn close to that right now. We are, $280 away from hitting where everybody gets a hardcover instead of just a thing. And that, of course, is with the all the different graphic novels. So you can see all soft covers upgraded to hardcover. That is the Stepan Sejic cover, the Mirka Andolfo cover, and both versions of the Michael D. Pascal cover, the regular and the naughty. And no, the black bars are not on the naughty edition. That's what makes it the naughty edition. You can see some of the interior pages by Carlos Renault. Now, Paul here has actually is one of the few people to have read the graphic novel. So, and his eyes didn't burn out and his head didn't explode. So,
Took forever to read, though.
Kept running to the other room.
I every few pages something came up.
Oh, Jesus, Paul. This is an erotic romantic graphic novel. And we are down to, as you can see, 4 days. And that's going to turn to 3 in just a little bit. So there's really only real 3 days left. But we are pushing this to try to get it. Yeah, we'd like to hit 50,000. That's our ultimate goal. But right now, 42,500 unlocks the next stretch goal. We've got a couple more planned after that. At least one more planned after that, involving some actual prints of some of my photography. My years as photography is part of the inspiration for this story. So if you haven't backed it yet, or you backed it and now that, hey, we can get hardcovers, and want to up your thing, now's the time to do it. Get us up to the 42,500. Get hardcovers for everybody. Those will be the ones that go out, whether you got one book, you got the 4-book set, or if you you did the thing where you had it set up for me to sign it, or there's one all encompassing package, which is all 4 sets, the 4 prints of the covers, and I sign all your books. So there's some really nice options on there. Check that out.
If you think that the description, erotic romance sounds good to you, you are really going to enjoy this book. I think it's not generally my typical cup of tea, but it is a top flight quality book. It that is my uncompensated endorsement.
And now,
although if you want to send me something, Dan,
we'll talk after the show.
Yeah.
And before we end up going to the thing, there is, as an honor to the late Howard Hessman, who passed today. That
one that really
this
hurt.
is probably one of the most influential moments I've ever saw on TV.
Take an umbrella, or you might not. You're listening to the Johnny Caramella Show on KRP in Cincinnati. And now it's time to listen to one of my personal favorites. It's the Hallelujah Tabernacle Choir with their beautiful rendition of You're Having My Baby.
Now, I'm going to talk over this part just for a second because musical rights, which is why this show isn't played over and over in syndication, is because of all the music they used in the show. They got through like handshake deals, and then once that they suddenly got big, no longer were they getting the handshake deals. Okay, Let's get back to this.
Hey, listen, I've been thinking, I want to go ahead and change the format today. Today? Sure. Just like that? Why not? Well, I don't have any records. Now you do. Listen, Andy, it's been quite a while since I worked in a rock station. So I think maybe you should look for somebody else. About 15 years younger. You're my man. Listen, I really appreciate it. I do. You can do it. I don't know. I do. Okay. Bailey, I'm having a meeting with Hessman and Charlotte, and I want you to be there.
Me?
Well, you work here, don't you?
Well, yeah, but I've never gone to a meeting before.
Well, that's been a mistake.
Well, I always thought so.
Listen, you do mean now. Yes. And you can say booger if you want to. Well, it's by the elevator music. Do it. All right, Cincinnati, it is time for this town to get down. You got Johnny, Dr. Johnny Fever, and I have burned it up in here. We are all in critical condition, babies. But you can tell me where it hurts. Because I've got the healing prescription here from the big KRP musical medicine cabinet. Now, I am talking about your 50,000 watt intensive care unit, babies. So just sit right down, relax, open your ears real wide and say, give it to me straight, doctor. I can take it. I almost got yellow babies.
Oh, that I remember watching that when it first happened, or first aired, and that was just an amazing moment on TV.
Yeah.
To see that again, and loved it, and and he went on to do so many great roles, and even before that, he was part of a group called the Committee, a comedy tour group that would do stuff like on the Smothers Brothers, the Dick Cavett Show. Who was also in the same group was David Ogden Stiers, who played Winchester on MASH, and was on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, and a bunch of other shows. He played Martian Manhunter in Justice League.
I was wondering if you were going to mention that.
Yeah, oh, of course. But yeah, that's Howard Hessman was just brilliant. He in Clue, in Police Academy, About Schmidt, just so many good shows. Of course, Head of the Class.
Yeah.
He was just brilliant in that. And he passed away today at 81 years old after complications from colon surgery. So it is sad to see him go. But, we should definitely celebrate his legacy and his career. Very, very talented, very funny guy. And, he will be missed.
Yes, indeed.
Goggins says, I remember him showing up in Billy Jack. Yeah, he's one of those guys that just when he shows up, he makes whatever he's in better.
Yeah. Well, his role in Clue was not huge.
No, he was the chief at the end. Yeah, but he was important.
It was still hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
The kingdom of God is at hand.
Yep. Oh,
yeah.
Man. I need to rewatch Clue again, too. That's such a great movie.
It's 1 + 2 + 2 + 1. I watched it late last year, I think right around Halloween, and still fantastic. So
I know quite a few people who work in radio, and that moment that we just played is the moment that got them into the idea of working for radio.
It is really fascinating how many people are like, oh yeah, WKRP.
Yeah.
That's how they,
that moment and the turkey drop are two of the biggest moments talked about. And then of course the Stampede episode having to do with the concert, which was the kind of sadder one, but really played well. But the turkey drop every Thanksgiving, I post that video of as God is my witness. I thought turkeys could fly, you know. And Nesman out there going, "Oh, the humanity." The other show thing that always got me about that show was him doing the sports because Nesman couldn't. And when he was talking about Chichi Rodriguez,
Chai Rodriguez.
Yes.
And what were those little Mexican dogs?
Chihuahuas.
Chihuahuas. Oh
Yes.
my God. That was something my family, we quoted that continuously. Because it was just the interchange between, it was a fantastic cast. They were great chemistry with them. Yeah. So.
Yep. And the irony of that, today is the day that the Cincinnati Bengals head back to the Super Bowl. They were talking about WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So,
oh,
well, yeah, that just, so rest in peace, Howard Hessman, Dr. Johnny Fever, Charlie, what was his last name on the?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was Ryder or something, but Charlie on Head of the Class, and so many amazing roles.
So
he actually,
in his honor, Booger,
yeah. Did you know he started as a DJ?
I did not know that.
He started as a DJ. He was using a different name. He was using a stage name of Don Sturdy, and he actually did a bunch of acting roles as Don Sturdy.
Wow.
It wasn't until later, but he was like on Dragnet. He was on the Andy Griffith Show. So, I mean, he goes back. He's been working steady since about 1968 up until 2018 was his last role in a movie called Dirty Politics, where he played Big Oil. Well, thank you, Jay. Jay is my new best friend. Just backed karma. So getting closer and closer to our goal of 42, 250 or 500, trying to get those hardcovers. But all right, we probably should get on to the main reason we're here today. Paul's going to sing for us. Paul?
Oh, Danny boy, I'm pretty sure this is public domain. From hill to hill and up and down the dial. I honestly always think whenever I hear Danny Boy, I like WKRP works its way into my head. I don't know why. But up and down the dial fits right into the tune. So little cross
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that is very nice of you. Yeah, Jenna's been a great supporter of mine, and I appreciate it. And it's always fun working with her and you guys. So thank you again. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into the Book of the Mandalorian. Mandalorian Chapter 17.
Yes. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm not really sure that qualifies as dulcet, but thank you, Andrew.
All right, so how many of you were slightly surprised, not so much that the Mandalorian showed up, but from the moment he popped up on screen, he wasn't going to leave until the episode ended?
I love, though, like, they did give you just enough of a moment there where he steps in front of the plastic strip door, where you are like, oh, it's Boba. Boba also wears like a half cape kind of thing sometimes. And then I was like, wait a second, I believe. And then the musical cue hits and he walks in and man.
Absolutely. That was spectacular and bad at the same time.
Well, how bad?
When I saw it, that's what I thought, because I came out of watching the episode and thought to myself, how bad is it that the best episode of a show doesn't have the main character in it? The titular character never shows up in the best episode of the series.
You know, and one of the things is that one of the great things about The Mandalorian is it kind of scratched the Boba Fett itch from when he first showed up and people went, ooh, cool. Which pretty much ended when Han Solo accidentally activated his jetpack and sent him into the Sarlacc. Although I will say again, wonderfully portrayed by a true gentleman and exceptional actor, Jeremy Bulloch.
Yes.
So but as far as like, I don't quite get the mystique of Boba Fett because we saw none of it in the original, very little of it in the original trilogy. He was kind of clever, because he was able to track the Millennium Falcon, but holy moly.
What the hell's an aluminum Falcon?
But you're right though. It's like I think part of it is because the pacing on this episode was just boom, boom, boom. They kept going. And so often there was not one back to flashback.
Yes. The flashback to
flashbacks. Yes. Which that really, we've talked about it. I'm not sure how I would have handled it. But it did really, just the flashbacks just seemed to, the bopping back and forth seemed to make things just kind of stop dead in some instances. So
yeah, I'll give you that. But at the same time, last night Lisa is over her COVID, so I went up and hung out this weekend, and she hadn't watched any of these yet. So we watched all 5 episodes straight.
Yep.
And the show is a lot better when you watch it that way.
That's often true with these, and we ran into that with some of the Marvel shows as well, where watching them every week, you kind of went, come on, give me more, give me something here. But by the end, you were kind of like, oh, okay.
Well, I've become a big proponent of doing them week by week, the slow release, because I think it builds up more anticipation. There's more talk and stuff like that, where I don't think the Book of Boba Fett is giving us enough each episode. Now, Andrew points out, and this is going to be my point too, there was more character development and story progression for Din in one episode than all of last 4 episodes of Boba. And I agree with that. We get one episode, we get resolution on what he's up to. He finds the armorer. He confronts Paz Vizsla, which they've been setting up since this whole thing started, because why else have a descendant of the guy who created the Darksaber and the guy who tried to take over Mandalore with Darth Maul?
Yeah.
He gets his new quest, which is you got to go bathe in the waters under the mines of Mandalore. So now he has a reason to go back to Mandalore, along with helping Bo-Katan get the city. He needs to learn how to use the Darksaber properly. He gets a replacement ship. It's no Razor Crest. And I realize they joked about it. And I loved the Razor Crest. And I want him to get another Razor Crest, because that, to me, is his ship. But
one problem with you can't live in a starfighter.
No.
I mean, you did, and that's the thing that kind of bugged me with that whole, like, ooh, it's so fast, it's so cool. And it's like, but you can't, like, the whole reason I think that he had a Razor Crest was because it was his home.
Yeah, he's just going through a midlife crisis. He was going around in the minivan with the little kid. Now the kid's off at boarding school, and he's got himself a hot rod.
Yes, my Maserati does 185, right?
Yeah, I lost my license. Now I can't drive.
Yeah. and if he runs into Paul Hyung-Sun Lee again, boy, I get that wrong every time. It's Paul Sun Hyung Lee. I always cross up the Sun and Hyung. Anyway, but I thought that was a nice reappearance.
Yep. Oh, that Pelimoto returning.
Yeah.
Introduction of a BD-1 droid right around the same time they announced the second Fallen Order Jedi Fallen Order video game, which is where the BD-1 is introduced.
Revisiting, we get to actually see Beggar's Canyon and some Womp Rats.
We go through the pod racing track, and we see that the fence that Anakin broke is still broken.
Yeah.
There's some great stuff in there.
Yeah, and it was nice because they were, it was there, but it didn't pop me out of that thing. But you know what kind of popped me out of things right at the beginning? Holy moly, that was Ringworld from Larry Niven's book, classic science fiction, Ringworld. And I'm just like, I mean, they built the model that they set up is very much similar to how it worked in the book.
And notice we never got a name for that city.
Oh, yeah. Well, and not a city; it's really a world in a strip.
Yeah.
But but they had the panels that gave you night and day, and I loved that, and I hope Larry Niven gets some money.
Adding the Starfighter also means Din is no longer a bounty hunter, no room to store them. Well, if they're allowed to come in dead, then he can definitely bring back a head in that little compartment.
Well, I was going to say, actually, the astromech compartment, as long as it's not too big, you just cram them in there.
Yeah.
That way they can't break away.
Yep. I think this is probably going to be an important part of the series. He'll need that ship for something, and then it'll probably get destroyed, and he'll probably turn to Pelimoto and go, okay, now get me a Razor Crest.
And quite honestly, I with the hints at the prequels, I wonder how much of it was just like, hey, look, one of these got left here.
Yep. I'm not a huge fan of the ship. I don't like all the openness on this on the sides. How it seems
really
like
odd.
Yeah. It's like, can we button it up a little bit? But I know a lot of people were like, oh my God, it's an N1 Starfighter. They're awesome. It's like, okay, great. It's an N1 Starfighter. Maybe he ends up with a ship where he can park that on there.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be a good thing. But I can't see him sticking with that ship because it seems impractical. Of course, by the end of it, I'm wondering if Din and Boba will be like forming their own clan or something.
Well, the interesting thing is that they do have Bo-Katan now has Moff Gideon's Star Destroyer or whatever cruiser that was. It was not a Star Destroyer, but yeah. So he can definitely park it on there and use it. Maybe he needs it for the Battle of Mandalore. I don't know.
Yeah.
But and maybe that becomes his new thing. Did anybody else hear just in the background, like a voice in your head when they started rebuilding the ship? Dun, 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 dun.
Not at all. Why would you hear that?
The fact
at least you didn't say, I'm not going to fly, Hannibal.
Yeah. By the way, I suddenly want him to take the BD unit with him.
Now, which one's the BD? Was
the
that
little tiny guy?
The one that jumps up and down like it needs to pee?
Yes.
I know it's supposed to be more like a puppy being like all, but...
We're introduced to those particular droids in the Jedi Fallen Order game. Cal Kestis runs around with it. And when he first meets him in the game, he's got this broken foot thing, just like he has when he comes out from dealing with the Womp Rat. Yeah. So they're kind of nodding to that. And like I said, the day before they announced the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. So it's like, good timing, guys. Well done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. I've got a few more. I got a few more things that I jotted down, which stupidly I put on my phone, which keeps on shutting off on me. Did you, by any chance, feel that the destruction of Mandalore with the K2s and the I'm like, hey,
It's Terminator.
It's Terminator. It's like,
Yep.
I mean, I really liked the scene, and my first thing was like, oh look, it's K2s, like K2SO from Rogue One. But
yeah, they're called the KX series. Yeah.
Okay, and but then it was just like, oh, I feel like I'd seen this somewhere before.
You mean Mandalore Future War?
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, Cody points out that the BD droid is the Fallen Order video game, like I said. He saw a few articles about them teasing an appearance of Cal Kestis. There was a lot of talk when he still had Grogu that the Jedi that was going to show up was going to be Cal Kestis, because that game takes place around the same era or a little bit before. So he would be a Jedi who'd still be alive now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's played by Cameron Monaghan in the game. So they could bring Cameron Monaghan in and, just go from there. So Andrew says, sidebar, kind of curious. Sidebar, what I've wondered for years, whatever happened to Darth Maul's Sith infiltrator? It would be somewhere on Tatooine. Because
isn't everything?
Yes. People are talking about Star Wars has a Tatooine problem. They spend too much time on the furthest planet from the center of the universe.
Oh, from the bright center of the universe.
Bright center of the universe. Yes, yes. So,
but I think I was one of them.
Yes. I will admit that up until this weekend, I was one of the people saying that the Book of Boba Fett is really slow. And it still is. But every once in a while, it's nice to see it from somebody else's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And Lisa, who isn't as nerdy about Star Wars as I am, I mean, she gets most of the references. She knew, all the stuff that was going on. She's like, oh my God, it's the Armorer, and she knew all that stuff. But she doesn't have, like, who the Armorer could be, where I have a theory of who the Armorer is, stuff like that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So watching her get excited and, start the next episode. So it wasn't the slow burn. And where I am a bit, like I said, a big proponent of doing the week by week series, seeing it all done in once like that, I really enjoyed it even more. Mm. And again, to have her excitement of watching it and, what's going to happen to, she was even a little upset in the Mandalorian episode. She's like, when does this get back to Boba? Which I don't know of anybody who was saying that. No. So she's probably the only person I know who's like, when do we get back to Boba? Because she wants to follow that story.
Yeah. But speaking of the Armorer, it got me thinking about the Creed, and I still can't understand this whole, have you ever taken off your helmet? No. Has anybody else ever taken off your helmet? No. Like, when he took off the helmet, he had scruff. What has it got? Internal razors or something? Like, how are their hair not sticking out at the bottom? And
did you ever take it off in front of anybody? You can take it off.
Not the Creed. The Creed says, have you taken it off? Doesn't say in front of anybody.
Yeah.
See, I interpreted it that way originally in The Mandalorian, but like, no, it's not, has anybody seen your face? It's just, have you ever taken off your helmet? Although it kind of reminds me of B. Arthur's delivery from History of the World Part 1. Did you bullshit this week? No.
You're trying to bullshit this week.
Yeah. Like, so
B. Arthur's the armorer. That would be brilliant.
Yeah. Difficult to pull off, but they do that face change stuff now.
Yeah. Andrew says the helmet refers to the universality of the Mandalorian as one people. Okay.
Yeah.
Not arguing with you on that.
Yep. I thought it was fascinating though too that it was like, oh, you're not a Mandalorian anymore.
Yeah.
But they can't take.
Have I told you my theory of who the armorer is?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. There's a couple clues here who she is. Number one is her helmet. If you'll notice, the gold helmet has little horns on it. Those little horns are from back when Darth Maul took over Mandalore.
I thought you were going to say that she was...
Are you going for a joke? Okay. Yeah. You're going for a joke. Okay. So the horns are... there was a group when Pre-Vizsla took over Mandalore. That's Paz Vizsla's and father or grandfather, or in that lineage. And he had the Darksaber. He killed Satine, who was Bo-Katan Kryze's sister, who was the ruler at the time. And he was part of the Death Watch, which is the group that saved Din Djarin. So, and that's where the Death Watch is, that group. Well, Bo-Katan, when Maul then defeated or challenged and defeated Pre-Vizsla, killing him and taking the Darksaber for himself and becoming the Mandalore, the Death Watch split. Bo-Katan went her way and tried to take down Maul, and that's all in Star Wars Rebels.
Yep.
But Pre-Vizsla had basically a right-hand woman who then went on to serve Darth Maul, named Rook Kast. And they've had her show up a few times. She's kind of the foil for Bo-Katan.
Mm-hmm.
So it would make a lot of sense to me that she would take on this role as the armorer. Pre-Vizsla's group was cloistered on the moon of Concordia when everything happened. So it all fits that this is somebody from Death Watch. And the most prominent female figure in Death Watch, once Bo-Katan left, was Rook Kast. Yeah. So it would make a lot of sense that is who she is.
Yeah, I thought it was a little weird that she didn't try and take the Darksaber.
Well, because it has to be done by Creed. And she never wanted to rule before. So
yes, but Ball's second in command was a fighter. And so far we've never seen the armorer fight at all. I mean, other than the practice stuff that he was doing with Mando. I'm sorry, Din. I still can't get used to. I just like, oh, that's right. Yeah, in fact, I think it was last week you started talking about Din Djarin, and I'm like, who the hell's that?
Yeah, it's not a name that rolls off the tongue as easily as Mando. Hey, look, everybody, it's Mando. Yeah, he's getting better with droids. I will give him that.
Yeah,
it looks like he's actually kind of like the BD droid. So,
but I think he prefers the SM droid.
I believe he preferred the IG droid.
So, what's that from Andrew about uniting the?
Yeah, Andrew's theory is that he thinks that they will unite the dogmatic religious side and the royal family aspect, with Din being the one to bring together them both through deeds and marriage. The knight marries the princess, Bo-Katan, making him truly the Mandalorian or the Mandalore. So he sees him and Bo-Katan. I can't see him marrying Bo-Katan.
I can't see Bo-Katan marrying him.
Yeah.
Is the really, yeah. They that didn't seem, because she was all just like, "Ugh, he's one of those nut jobs."
Yeah. By the way, as I was rewatching the episode last night, the song "Return of the Mac" popped in my head, but suddenly it was "Return of the Mando." Return of the Mando.
Apparently, this is our musical episode.
It appears to be, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Although I do kind of prefer Andrew's musical reference.
Yeah. I do like the fact that when Fennec Shand does show up and remind us, oh, yeah, it's a Book of Boba Fett episode.
Yeah.
And she offers him the money and he's like, no, it's on the house.
Yeah.
That just, I really appreciate how much Din has grown as a character. And he's in the same way, it is sort of paralleling what's going on with Boba, in that they're learning that having friends and a tribe helps you in the end. So they need help, you help them, not necessarily because of money, but because they need the help.
Yeah. Or because then they'll owe you.
Yeah, I don't see him being that way. At least not at this point. Maybe before, but yeah,
Yeah, and it is. I did like how Fennec made it very clear that apparently rinky-dink security systems are not a big challenge for a master assassin.
Yeah,
I locked her out. I turned on the security system. Hi, I'm here. Yeah. 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 At some point, I'm just like, I don't want it to switch. I don't want it to turn into the Mandalorian part. Take two. I just want to turn it into the Fennec Shand show.
Let's shift gears just a little bit here and talk about how brilliantly this episode was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As soon as her name popped up, it was like, of course, you know. And what's cool is everybody's like, oh, they need to give her her own movie. Nope, let's keep her on television. She's doing amazing television. Directing a movie and directing TV are very different, and I'd much rather get a bunch of television episodes from her. Give her any series she wants. If it's the Bo-Katan series, give her the Bo-Katan series, or let her direct more of season 3. But there are these subtle nods that she puts in to her father. And did you catch the one this week?
I think I missed it.
When he goes through Beggar's Canyon and he pulls up to let's test this out, when the ship's going up into space and he's really taking off, the music playing, very reminiscent of Apollo 13. Some of the scenes in Apollo, and it's a nod to her dad. And she did that once before in an episode she directed when the Razor Crest was trying to come in onto the water planet and was in bad shape. It was done like Apollo 13 as well. So she puts these nods into her dad, which I thought was just brilliant. So I knew it was her before we saw the name.
If we only had a chance for Mando and Grogu to go fishing sometime. Frog fishing.
Yes. And that brings us back to Howard Hessman, who appeared on the Andy Griffith Show a few times.
There you go.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I had forgotten, by the way, Andrew mentioned that the Armorer fought some stormtroopers in season 1, which I had forgotten about.
She did and kicked ass.
Yeah.
Those little the hammer and whatever the other thing is. Yeah.
She went at them hammer and tongs, literally.
Yeah. Yep. And kicked butt. And I like the character, but the dogmatic part of it makes it feel like she's going to end up being a bad guy, which is again why I think it's going to be Rook cast with Paz Vizsla at her side.
Yeah. Which I did not bother. I did not notice it in the Mandalorian show because it hadn't happened yet. But like now, I was having flashbacks to the chest plate. Gave me Paz Vizsla's chest plate and his heavier armor. gave me flashbacks to the Hydra Stomper
Hmm.
in from Captain Carter. It's
Yeah.
like, but I had never put that together with like the original Iron Man armor. But
Yep.
seeing them again together, I was just like, holy crap! I'd forgotten how bulky his suit was.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a big guy compared to Din.
Yeah.
You know, and the guy they have in the suit is a big guy.
Yeah.
Don't remember his name. I could look it up, but of course it's voiced by Jon Favreau, who voices Pre Vizsla in the Star Wars Rebel series.
I had forgotten that.
Yeah, and by the way, Pre Vizsla is actually a joke term having to do with graphic art, computer generated graphics.
The previs stage of production.
Yeah. Yeah. Andrew says Bryce Dallas Howard is showing a strong sense of both visual style to the Star Wars universe as well as keeping the characters down to earth and real. I loved, for no apparent reason, the one take tracking thing of him going into the elevator, riding it up with the weird guy looking next to him, going inside the club, meeting with the client, getting his information, that all done in one take.
Yeah.
Following him along. That was great. It looked cool. There wasn't really a need for it, but it still looked cool. And it gave kind of an interesting sense of, let's just get this over with. It's, and just the whole scene on Ringworld, we'll call it Ringworld for now, I just thought well done.
Yeah.
And getting him down to the substrata and getting it to where they're, as soon as we see the armorer sitting there, it's like, oh my God, we're going to get lore.
Yes, she's like one of those side quest cats in a video game. Oh, look, there's sunshine.
She is absolutely his quest giver.
Yeah. Yeah.
You must take the foundling back to its kind. Season 2 quest sorted. We're going to need a Season 3 quest. Let's find the armorer. You must bathe in the waters of Mandalore. Quest united. All right, let's go.
I'm really because it looked like by the way, speculation on did it look like he had the armorer make like a little chainmail shirt for Grogu?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It reminds me of the Mithril shirt from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, there you go.
Which makes a lot of sense for him.
Yeah. Flexibility, but still going to stop a lightsaber.
Yeah, I've seen so many people draw like a little tiny Mandalorian armor on Grogu. It's like, it doesn't make sense. But having him just have a Mithril shirt or a Beskar shirt, that he could wear underneath that little robe thing he wears, that makes all the sense in the world. It doesn't look like he's protected, but if somebody comes at him with a lightsaber, he's good.
Yeah,
he could lose a hand or a head, and that's about it.
Yeah. By the way, talking about Jon Favreau and directors, I just like, wow, Jon Favreau's come a long way since PCU. now an integral part of the of Hollywood movie making.
Oh yeah.
But I will always think of him as Gutter from PCU. Total pothead. Yeah.
No, I think of him from Swingers. That's just.
Oh, you're such a late comer to Jon Favreau fandom.
No, that's fine. Most of his early stuff wasn't the type of stuff I like to watch. So suddenly, when they went, they gave Iron Man to Jon Favreau. They did what? The Swingers guy.
The Swingers guy. Wait, wow. Monica's boyfriend from Friends?
I thought that was Tom Selleck.
Oh, she went through a lot of them. He was the one that decided he was a rich guy, ultra rich guy, and he decided he was going to become an MMA fighter.
Ah,
So he bought his own octagon, and
that
she,
seems vaguely familiar.
I think he got seriously beat up, and she was like, "You can't do this," and he's like, they broke up because he wanted to be a MMA fighter, and she's like, "You're gonna get your ass kicked." But anyway, yes, these roles are very far. But even when you see him play Happy, you go like, "Oh, he's good," but you don't stop and go. But he's such a huge influence now.
Yeah.
So kudos all across the board to John.
Though I wish I would love to have seen what he would have done with the third Iron Man movie. I like Shane Black. I thought he was a good choice to replace him. I thought the third Iron Man movie was pretty good. Not my favorite, but yeah, I would love to see what Favreau would have done with the third movie.
You just loved the second one most of all.
Nope, the first. Iron Man 1. Yeah. That's the best.
Yes, I realize. But
Bryce Dallas Howard's going to get her own series, but it's not a Star Wars series. Disney is giving her the Flight of the Navigator.
Ah, interesting.
Yes. So expect more of the scenes as the ship goes up into space.
There you go.
Yep.
By the way, was I the only one who, when they were doing all their this is the ways, and she's like, "Have you ever taken off your helmet?" He's like, "Yeah." And it would have been awful and jarring, but I kind of wanted to say, "No way."
That would have been funny.
Yeah, because it's just
played.
Yeah. Well, and if you played it with a shocked, or this is the what?
That is not the way.
This is the way. This no way. Yeah. Anyway.
And gets kicked out like that.
Yeah. There was and she didn't even say, go and bathe in the waters.
Yeah.
She was just like, "You're done."
Yep, you're out of here. And immediately Paz is like, "You apostate."
Yeah. Meanwhile, as he's laying sprawled where Mando put him.
Sorry, what was that?
And plus, after they just said, "Now there are 3 of us."
Yeah. Well, he said 3 before. Before she said, "Well, we will welcome you back, that you finished your quest." So now I'm wondering if there's a third that we didn't see, if he was counting Din or not.
Yeah. It seemed like when he came back, that the implication was that the 3 of them were. But it was just, it's like, wow, you're really taking your creed seriously if you're willing to go like, "Oh, we'll lose a third of our forces."
Yeah. Or how about the fact like, "Oh, I'm glad you're here. We've been waiting for someone to help us put the kiln in." Yeah, we couldn't have set up anything until you got here.
The fusion forge. Yeah.
Let's get that forge set up now. There we go.
Thank goodness they didn't find out about him going against the creed before they set it up.
Yes. You think they would have asked that if it was that important?
Yeah.
Hey, it's been a while. I got to ask. Helmet thing? Did you keep the helmet on?
Yeah. It does. If like you're coming back to the church, it seems like that was something. Kind of the whole confession aspect.
Yeah.
But
I still find it odd, though, that all of this took place in the middle, basically the middle of somebody else's series.
Well, I you know what though? I needed it. Like it gave me a little push to keep going with the series.
Yeah.
I just
pour one out for the spear.
I thought that. Yeah, I thought that was a little odd that they're like, Beskar is for armor. It is not for weapons. Yeah. Okay.
Why the Yoda voice?
Because he was with Grogu. So, but it's like it seems kind of odd that they're all just like, you can't make a weapon with that. It could be used against us. Yeah, there's other stuff that can be used against you because you leave gaps all over.
Yep, enough to chop yourself in the leg.
I didn't catch that. I thought it was like a blaster burn and then I was like, oh wait, no, he burned himself.
Yes.
Oops. Yep. And actually, even in the opening fight scene, I'm like, dude, get some training in using a sword.
Yeah. So do you think we're going to get more with him going to see Grogu, or will he just return from seeing Grogu and we'll deal that with in the Mandalorian season 3?
Right. In the Mandalorian season 3, he'll be in the Bacta tank, remembering going back and seeing Grogu. It's going to be the new thing.
Because there are photos of something of the baby Yoda being on, or baby Grogu being on this. He's not even a baby. He's 50 freaking years old. Grogu being on the set.
I know some 50-year-olds are pretty darn immature.
Supposedly the puppet for Grogu has been on the set of Book of Boba Fett. So maybe we'll get to see it. Maybe he shows up. Maybe he gets there, sees the whole thing devastated by Kylo Ren, finds Grogu chilling out, like, I was hiding, takes him and comes back with him. I don't know.
Well, are we supposed to have they established that Skywalker was teaching them on Tatooine?
No, he's not teaching him on Tatooine.
Okay. So all right. Because I thought you were suggesting that it was a quick, I'll go out to old Ben's place. And
if you've been brave enough to see the sequels,
I watched them and quite enjoyed them, but I'm that guy.
Yeah, but it doesn't take place on that is on another planet.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but then it makes it sound like it's a quick trip.
Well, in that new ship.
But plus, the timing is wrong though, because Ben Solo was a teenager at least, and that there hasn't been enough time. He probably hasn't even been born yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe Luke is living out. Maybe Luke is now crazy old wizard.
Could be
living in Ben's place and letting Grogu point a lightsaber at his eye.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe Grogu convinces Luke to let him go help his friend Boba, since Boba helps get him back.
Yeah.
Don't know. We got 2 more episodes. Who knows? One of the most disturbing things from the episode has to be the idea that Peli Motto used to date a Jawa.
Furry. Very, very furry.
Yeah.
Oh. And apparently it's the one that was still getting the stuff for her, because she's like, no, sorry, I'm working on me right now.
Oh my god, that's just so disturbing.
Although, by the way, did you find it a little weird that she's like, oh, just make a list, and then they left? It's like, he didn't make the list.
Yep. Yeah, and they come back with the pipe from the trash compactor.
I loved that. Like, now we know what it is.
Yeah. And that does seem to be one of the things that Jon Favreau wants to do with Star Wars, with this series, is answer those stupid questions we've had. Why is that guy running with an ice cream maker? That's a Cantino. It's a safe. Oh, okay. That's the pipe from the bottom of a pipe syndicate transport. Okay.
I did like that. Oh yeah, he when they cut it out from under a Pike Syndicate transport while it was refueling. Like,
It's like,
whoa,
it's like stealing a
Jawas
catalytic
are
converter.
yeah, they are they are they are stone cold.
Yeah.
I'm like,
They took the armor off of an unconscious Boba Fett. And then when he moved, they knocked him out instead of trying to get him help. Those are cold little bastards.
well, it's hard to sell because now the Tatooine's part of the New Republic, so
Yeah.
you can't go around selling people anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So
Droids, you can definitely sell droids.
yes,
You need to unionize, man.
yeah.
Oh.
So I'm not sure that they cared whether they left him for dead or he was just unconscious. Like
When you realize the Tuskens are more caring than the Jawas.
but they did put him through hell before they went, yeah, okay.
But they did give him a little worm goo at first.
Yes, worm. Just like, really, guys? Really? You're gonna, there's all sorts of things you could have done, but no, you have it be like a little wrinkled hot dog.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the black melon.
Yes.
The milk from a black melon. Why is it milk? I thought milk came from usually other sources than a melon.
Well, you wouldn't have expected milk to come from almonds either.
It doesn't.
They call it almond milk.
But it's almond juice. Let's see. Well, they didn't hang him up Fett by his nipples. A man called Horse. Anyone?
Oh yeah. Which was the oh God, I can't remember the actor's name now. The original Dumbledore.
Oh, Richard Harris.
Right. If am I remembering that correct, Andrew? Yes, it was Richard Harris.
Cool.
So yeah, all in all though, I mean, I just really enjoyed having an episode that just moved along at a nice clip.
Yeah,
if it had been a Boba-centric episode that had moved along at a nice clip, I would have probably been happy with that too. But yeah, maybe once the whole thing is wrapped, I'll watch it. I'll binge it and see how I react then. But
yeah, like I said, having just binged all 5 episodes again
really
helped. It really got me going on the series again. I think part of the thing is that there are moments that are kind of like, what the mod bike gang still gets me. It still throws me out. But
did you notice, by the way, though, on the Ring World, they had several people that were dressed shinier?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, really, there's other people that,
Yeah. Which I'm fine with. They do that on Coruscant, but it just doesn't fit on a desert planet.
But they get the holomags that show people dressed like that.
This is, I think, the big thing. I just want Fett to be the character he was in the last couple episodes of The Mandalorian. I just want him to be the character in the tragedy. The Robert Rodriguez directed episode that came in even without his armor and beat the crap out of stormtroopers, an endless number of stormtroopers, where the same guy is sitting on a hill going, I'm not as imposing without my armor. Yeah, you are. You are a badass without your armor.
Look, you're dressed in a black cloak with the big hood. I mean, it's like the universal shorthand for, oh, don't mess with that guy. Yep. I mean, that's why Kylo Ren looked imposing, not because he had the mask. but for any amount that he looked imposing, it was because he had the big swooping.
Kylo Ren looked like a teenage goth. And that's all he ever looked like to me. He never looked imposing. Vader looked imposing. Darth Maul looked like a badass. Hell, Count Dooku looked more imposing than Kylo Ren.
Well, that's because he had done more sword fights in movies than anyone else. It's not a great Christopher Lee, but I watched the extras from the Three Musketeers from the 70s, where he's talking about how, basically he's the most experienced, best swordsman that ever was, kind of thing. It's like, but humility, not so much.
Yep. Yeah. No, I love Christopher Lee. I thought he was great in that. I can never remember what his Darth name was.
Oh, yeah, no.
Andrew? What was Count Dooku's Darth name? Was it Plagueis? No. Plagueis was the
Plagueis was Plagueis, Darth Tyrannus.
Yes, there it is.
Although I like to pronounce it Tyrannus.
Uh-huh.
Got very short. He should have had really short arm. I'm Darth Tyrannus.
Yes, and he becomes king.
Yes.
Tyrannus Rex.
No, he just destroys a lot of stuff. Tyrannus Rex.
I'm going to get you with my lightsabers.
Yeah, he has little sticks that hold the lightsabers.
Though we did learn that the Darksaber's handle or hilt is made out of Beskar. Yeah. And that was a year-old Beskar. We didn't know that going into the series.
That's true.
Actually, I think it is pronounced Tyrannus. Okay. Fine. I can call him Tyrannus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, Tyrannus, Tyrannus. Let's call the whole thing off.
Okay, let's be serious. It's better than Dooku.
I still like calling him Dooku.
There are some really bad names in Star Wars.
There really are. Like
Madame Garza. They always refer to her as Madame Garza. You look her up, it's Garza Whip.
Whip? Like Cool Whip.
Yes.
Yeah, now I want Stewie Griffith to be the only one that ever... And now, announcing Garza Whip.
Tyrannus, like Paul said.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, so what do we think the last two episodes are going to be? We got just a couple minutes, so real quick.
I assume that they're going to make friends with the Pike Syndicate and all sing Kumbaya.
Wouldn't surprise me.
But in Jawanese.
Wouldn't surprise me the way that they have waved off threats in this series.
Yeah. I think that that we're going to see them build, they're going to have the Wookiee, they're going to have Mando. Maybe Boba will call in his old bounty hunting buddies like you were talking about.
I want Bosk.
Well, or in case of what? Oh, can't remember his name now. Who's the lizard? The
Bosk.
Lizard, huh?
The Trandoshan?
Yeah.
Bosk,
right. I get Bosk confused with Bosch or Boosh or whatever the one Leo is supposed to be.
Oh yeah, Boosh.
Yeah. So that's why it just brain glitched there. I was like, oh, it was Bosk. No, wait, that's the one Leo hid. So I think they're going to bring in a bunch of people, and they're going to kick butt on the Pikes. Yeah, although I don't know that I'll find that very satisfying. What do you think will happen?
Wow. I would love to see, as Andrew refers to them, the SB bounty hunters, Boss, Dengar, Forlom, Zuckus, IG-88. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe that wouldn't be that satisfying. Just a big 2-episode fight. You know, I kind of the Boba we're getting is a much more intelligent planning one.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that there is some big plan. I really want the one character when they started dealing with the aftermath of the attack on the Tuscans. We never see anything that says the female Tuscan got killed.
Right.
We see the stick from the little kid. We see the leader, but we never see her. And I'm hoping that she shows up too.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd love to see that pay off because they did dirty to the Tuscans. They really did. And I'd like to see the Tuscans play a part of the attack on the Pike.
Yeah, like them luring the Pike into some place. And then, kind of seeing Tuscans up along the ridge like they've,
Yeah. So that's where I think they're going to go. I think the Tuscans are going to play a big part in the ending. I think she might still be alive and brings them into the fight. Yeah. And just to get rid of the Pike off the planet altogether. And it seems like a lot of people would get into getting rid of the Pike.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I hope that we get to see the mayor get his comeuppance.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I just feel like they have waved away so many threats, you know, and it feels like even if they get rid of the Pike, then they still have the twins to deal with later.
Right.
Because the twins have been very cautious when he's like, I will give you back your fighter, or, give you back Black Chrysanthemum. Or they only refer to him as Chrysanthemum in this, by the way. They dropped the black part. But I'll give you back Chrysanthemum if you renounce your claim on Jabba's territory. And they're like, keep him. Sell him back.
No, he failed. You keep him.
And it's not worth it. So they haven't renounced their claim.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that they're going to come back. Yeah. So I think they're just waiting for Boba to take care of the Pike, which means that there could be a season 2 of the show. But I'm not craving a season 2.
No, not right now. Maybe they'll just next episode will be the gathering of the Magnificent Seven, and then the last episode will be the kick the Pike.
Well, with the amount of fan service they're doing, I could see them spending a whole episode tracking down all the ESB bounty hunters. Yeah. We get a little story about each one of them. That would be interesting. Maybe Mando's the one that goes and, Boba's calling you,
Yeah.
Would be interesting.
Yeah. I'll say that honestly, I don't have a good feel for where it's headed. I really don't. But that could pay off.
Yep. All right, guys, we are going to wrap it up there. We will be back next week to talk more Vox Machina, more Peacemaker. We didn't even talk about the Peacemaker episode today.
Oh, darn.
Didn't like the episode?
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
But the on the whole, it just hasn't sent me. It's just not my proverbial cup of tea.
I am enjoying the series. There are better episodes and worse episodes. This was one of the better ones. So when they spend more time,
but we'll talk 2 episodes next week.
Yep, we'll talk Vox Machina, Peacemaker, and of course Book of Boba Fett or Book of Mandalorian, depending on how they do the next episode. And
Bobalorian.
Bobalorian, yeah. Also, please remember, Kickstarter's going on. 3 days left. We're getting really close to the goal to get all the books turned into hardcovers. So if you haven't backed yet, now's the time. If you have backed, you wanted to make your books a hardcover, Tell your friends about it. Let's get a few more. Get this thing up to over 42,500. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great week, Paul.
Have a good one, Dan.
And we will
Everybody.
see you all.